Rather lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Youri Tielemans, FC Barcelona wants him. Arsenal still favorites to sign him. We talk about Arteta to Barcelona. They do want him actually. I did see this story a couple of weeks ago. It's back as well. And Stan Kroenke is willing to spend in January just to make sure that Arsenal get that, simple ride, that easy ride on top of the table for as long as we can. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the podcast as well. We are very close to 60,000 subscribers and let's get this video to 300 likes. Now, first and foremost, we talked about Youri Tielemans, I think, last week, and the big question was, are Arsenal going to try to sign him in January? Will we try to sign him and do that? The information that was there by the time was Arsenal will not try to sign him. They don't feel like it's a deal they should do in January. They can't do it at the end of the season. However, clubs like Barcelona, clubs like Liverpool, clubs like Manchester United are putting the pressure on. They are, trying to sign Youri Tielemans in January, and I believe Leicester City will be willing to cash in on him if any lucrative offers come onto their table. And that is where we come in. A few sources that I've been looking at, including Kroenke, one of my very, very favorite journalists right now, says that Arsenal are still favorites to sign Youri Tielemans. They will table some money on for Leicester City to try and sign him in January. And that is what I love, and that's what I want to hear, because when you look at Youri Tielemans and Granit Xhaka, I think both of them are very, very different players, by the way. I don't know what you people think, but I think both of them are very different players. They can't play in that new role that Mikel Arteta has created for the number 8, that kind of, new number 10 role alongside Martin Odegaard. But I think they are very, very different. And in Youri Tielemans, you have a player who's very, very attack-minded, a player who's very aware of his spaces, especially offensively, and a player that I think will score more goals than Granit Xhaka. Remember my bet? It still stands. I think I'll give away $100 if Arsenal's Granit Xhaka doesn't score $100. Sorry, 10 goals this season. I'll give away $100, and that still stands. But in Youri Tielemans, and the difference between him and Granit Xhaka is a safer option defensively because he's strong, he's physical, and do that. But what I like about Youri Tielemans is the other side of the game, what he brings to the table. He's naturally gifted to play in those areas. We've seen it in the last few months of his career at Leicester City. We've seen what he's all about. Those long shots, those clever passes, the positioning as well is very, very late. And I've seen him being made captain at Leicester City. Literally shows you that it's the confidence in players like Youri Tielemans. The more you believe in them, the more the more confident they are, the better. Now, Barca wants him alongside Ilkay Gundogan. I think the primary target here for FC Barcelona is Ilkay Gundogan. I really don't understand why Barcelona want him. They do have Frank here. They do have Frankie de Jong. Look, I don't really understand if it is as a replacement of Sergio Busquets. I don't think Youri Tielemans replaces Sergio Busquets, in my opinion. He actually doesn't. Ilkay Gundogan could be another, a very, very good option if you're looking to replace Sergio Busquets. But in light with Youri Tielemans, I don't see how I don't know why they're trying to sign him. Even in my opinion, because they have Gavi, they have Frankie, who can play in that position as well. They also have Pedri, who I feel is one of the best number 8s in the world right now. Yeah, you guessed it right. I do support Spain. I'm supporting Spain in the World Cup. But that really doesn't mean that Pedri isn't the best number 8 in the world. So I feel if Barcelona are the only competition Arsenal have on Youri Tielemans, it shouldn't be a problem. It won't be any hard for us. Go down in January, get that money, sign the check, table it for Leicester City. For me, 20 million will be just enough. And I'm really, really happy with this, old Barcelona kind of crazy stuff. Not because they want to take him, but because they want to force Arsenal into action. We know that he's played in the Premier League for some time. So he's a player that really doesn't need a lot of initiation to the league. He's a player that doesn't need a lot of, talking through this is what the Premier League is like, and know that he's been here for some time. He understands the basics of playing in this very, very tough league. The demands on the league that are really, really ridiculous, and know that. So I'm going to say this, guys. Barca coming in for Youri Tielemans. Very, very good news for Arsenal for me right now. It's just going to push us into action. Probably, try to realize maybe January is too far. Maybe January is not the month that we should be looking at. This summer. But probably try to sign him in January. Now, as well, there are a few other clubs that are interested, including Liverpool. And this is where we've got to be interested, really. This is where our eyes and ears are really wide open. Liverpool are also interested. Now, they did sign Arthur Melo for no reason, absolutely, in the summer. And I think, listen, I've been trying really hard to work on 2 channels, and it's really, really draining me. But I think we should have these conversations on another channel, really. But what I like about players like Arthur Melo is their versatility and ability on the ball. That is what Youri Tielemans is all about. Jurgen Klopp has made it very, very clear. If he wants a player, he will definitely get him. We've seen it with the likes of Luis Diaz signing in January for that very, very big fee, transfer fee. So, can Liverpool sign him? I think they can. They do have UEFA Champions League for now at least, before Madrid actually pump them out of the UCL. So they can sign him. I think Man United have always been in and around the door, given the fact that Donny van der Beek is not yet sure whether he's going to be staying with the club or moving on. That is that's another transfer to look at. That's another deal to look at. Youri Tielemans to Manchester United. I've seen Manchester City somewhere, but I don't trust that. I don't think City will be going in for Youri Tielemans. He's a very, very good player. He might play well for Pep Guardiola, by the way, especially if Ike Gundogan is going to go through go out through the door, probably to go to FC Barcelona and do that. But I still feel Liverpool, Manchester United, and Arsenal will be front runners. Then Barcelona will be coming in as the underdogs in the race, and Arsenal, according to my sources, are still leading the race to sign Youri Tielemans. So don't panic. We're still in the race. We're still leading it. But the question is, how much are we willing to pay for Youri Tielemans? I think it has always been the question, and Arsenal have never been very, very clear with their intentions on the price. They've never come out and said, this is how much we're willing to pay. Leicester City, how much are you willing to get? They've always inquired about Leicester City's price, about Leicester City's asking price. At first, as we understand, it was around 35. Then it went down to 33. Then it went down to 31. And still Arsenal are not willing to break. They're still saying it should be around, 12, 17, 20. They're not even coming out to say this is how much we are willing to pay. And this is how much we want the player and we treasure him. But there is that there is that argument, and a few journalists are still quoting that if he doesn't join us in January, then probably will join us in the summer. But I want us to sign him in January. I want him to sign for Arsenal in January. It makes more sense. It makes life easier. It makes things a little bit easier for Arsenal, given the number of games we have. You need that experience, and then, guys, that little simple winning mentality could be the difference between Manchester City and Arsenal. Yes, we do have Gabriel Jesus, Alexander Zinchenko, Martin Odegaard, and those players that have played at a higher level than Mikel Arteta has ever played at, and players that know what winning means. But the vast majority of this team are not even underdogs. I don't know how I should call them. They know nothing about winning. Ramsdale, Gabriel Magalhaes, Benjamin White, all these players are coming in from these, small clubs that just love to, create and nurture talent, and just make sure that players are coming up right. So that is why players like Youri Tielemans come in. He's won with Leicester City, the FA Cup. I mean, I don't know how much of a difference that makes to you, but to me, it really, really makes a big difference. But then also, not just that, it's not about him only winning. It's not about him only winning the FA Cup. It's about him playing here for a very, very long time, and very young, but then very, very experienced. We talked about it with the likes of Gabriel Jesus, with the likes of Alexander Zinchenko. The level of experience they have at that age is why Arsenal paid huge amounts of money on them. The physical problems that have been mentioned by a few outlets, I don't believe in that. I don't think he's physically unable. I don't think. I've seen him fight for the ball. Like I said, is one player can turn into anything as long as he's confident, as long as he's loved, as long as he believes that the fans actually do believe in him. He knows us, the fans love him. He knows how much you people love him. I mean, I love him to some degree, but you guys love him excessively, right? And that is where I want to report about him coming to Arsenal. I don't want to report him about, report about him going to Barca. I want him to, sign as early as January. It would be a very, very good deal. I think it would be better than that of players like, Manuel Locatelli, in my opinion. Of course, Locatelli plays where Partey plays, so that's a different story. But Tielemans coming to the carpet in January, that's a better deal than Manuel Locatelli could ever give us if he signed. Now, Barcelona crazy about Mikel Arteta. I will do a video about this one. I don't want to dive deeper into it because I know it's one where I need to really think and try to understand the situation. I'm a big Barca fan, and I understand that Xavi is in a very, very big predicament. The situation around Barca is not very good. Yes, they're on top of the table in La Liga, but they've not beaten any big team this season, including Inter Milan, FC Bayern, and Real Madrid as well. And they've conceded a lot of goals against this classy side. So Xavi looks like not the man for the job. He's been given all the resources, and Barca could feel probably we need someone a little bit better. We need someone who's gonna give us something more. And Mikel Arteta could be that guy. So Arsenal don't want to let him go, obviously, so I expect another new contract to be coming out from Arsenal to Mikel Arteta. He's done all right so far, being on top of the league, on top of the Premier League, 5 points ahead of Manchester City, same number of games as Manchester City, and now the Manchester City game looks like a game in hand for both of us, right? It's not only a game in hand for Manchester City, it's a game in hand for both of us. And remember, we played fewer games than the likes of Newcastle. So if we can win those 2 games in hand, the difference between us and third, us and the rest of the table is actually going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So Xavi to be replaced by Mikel Arteta, it sounds fancy. I don't know if Mikel would be feeling and thinking about that Spanish connection, right? And that is where I'm afraid, isn't it? Yeah, you can see it in my eyes. Because if it's gonna go, I'm at Arsenal, I love this club, I've created this project, and everyone looks at it as the Mikel Arteta project, then that is good. He's going nowhere. But if it goes, yeah, I've been at this club for some time, but I'm Spanish and, Barca need me, so I need to go back there. My roots stand, how these, Spanish and, German guys always do feel in their, prejudice and ego when they want to go back to the likes of Bayern and FC Barcelona. And the good news is that Kroenke is willing to spend the money in January. Now, again, this one story that we're going to be diving into deeper, what he needs to do, how much he needs to give us, and why is he being so nice, guys? Why is he being so nice? But I think the big question here with Kroenke is how much is he willing to provide the team with? And at the end, right, in the end, if he gives us like 100 million probably in January and we don't win the league, does he want his money back? Because if we win the league, he's getting lots and lots of money. But I'm happy that Kroenke is getting some sense back into his head. It's simple for me. It has always been simple. You want to, for example, if I wanted to get more money in from this channel, I've got to invest in it. As simple as that. So if you want to, if you want more money from your business, you invest the time, you invest the resources, you invest the money, you invest you invest in each and every department. So they're willing to. Josh Kroenke actually is willing to invest some money in Arsenal. I love that. I love the way it sounds, and I think that should be our key topic in the next live stream that we'll be talking about. Kroenke being so nice but ready to spend. There is a video on your way around Mikhailo Modric, and I'll do a video about Facundo Torres. I've really struggled to do a video about Facundo Torres, and just hit my head that probably I didn't script it right. So I'm gonna be re-scripting that video around Facundo Torres, and then we'll talk about him. He's gone to the World Cup with Uruguay. Mikhailo Modric has not gone to the World Cup because Ukraine are not there. So is it better to sign Mikhailo? Because according to him, he wants a move in January, and he would be disappointed if it doesn't get a January move. There's a lot to talk about in the next probably 13 days before we enter December, where we'll be closer to the market, and a lot of rumors will be flying in. So yeah, I'll speak to you soon. I'll speak to you in the next one as we dive into Mikhailo Modric, Facundo Torres, Youri Tielemans. I think those are the three that are going to be leading the headlines. Of course, I've seen Endrick as well. I've seen the likes of I don't know, so many names, and I want to talk about them. So I'll speak to you in the next one.